laughing in our intro, but like we were genuinely laughing about something.
We were.
We were. Tonight's episode of Arrow, which was entitled Present Tense. Let me hit in present tense tweet. And it is episode 4 of season 8, aka the very last season of Arrow ever, except for the like a million asterisks, except for Arrowverse is continuing, except for Arrow's getting a spinoff, except for Arrow
except for it won't die.
It won't.
Ever.
No, it won't. It won't. And like the second it does, they'll be like, give it like a good like 10 years for like everything to die off, and they've released all their whatevers, and then like, you know, Cast has written tell-all books and whatever, and then they'll be like, CW will be like, guess what's rebooting, guys?
Who's reading Kitty Cassidy's tell-all? Actually, I'm like, super curious about that. For sure,
like 100%.
First of all, it doesn't have all the secrets because no one else told her the secrets, and now I'm hating on Kitty Cassidy again. And
we have like Lindsay Jean says hi. Mateo Valle Wedding Film says so glad Mia and future William stay in the present. Hope it's until the end. Rengoku says hello, and X Pumax DC says let's go. Let's go is right. And we're going to kick it right off like we always do. For a second, the screen was frozen on like a really... Did you go first? Do you want to go first again?
No, God, no.
Okay, I'm going to rate tonight's episode. It's appropriate because it's episode 4. I'm going to rate it a solid 4. Not higher than 4, not lower than 4. There were moments I loved. There were moments where I wanted to shove my hands to the screen and do things a little bit differently. But overall, I'm with, I think it was Mateo, who said, I'm so glad that future William and Mia stay in the present. And Connor as well. And frankly, if JJ's in there, JJ as well, I'm glad that we're merging the two. Because when we go back to Arrow, like old school Arrow, like back when you were watching regularly and they had the flashbacks, you remember that?
Like 4 seasons, y'all.
Yeah, she was in it.
I was a fan.
Yes. Once upon a time.
Was.
Back when they had flashbacks, I was almost always sick of the flashbacks, did not love them, and always wanted them merged with present day. I know. I just didn't like them. With the flash forwards, I started to like them a lot better because I cared about the characters in the flash forwards more. But even then, I like the streamlinedness of having it merged with present day. I just don't care about the flash forward and flashback very much. Stormy says Diggle and Oliver's scenes with their kids were a 5 out of 5. Everyone else was a waste of time. I just don't give a damn about them. That's fair.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, not since before probably we were friends have I given an Arrow episode a higher grade than you, but I would give it a 5 out of 10, and that's the greatest insult I can give as well. It wasn't better than mediocre. It wasn't worse than mediocre. It was forgettably okay.
Okay. Forgettably okay, I will take.
Yeah.
But how does it, and you knew that this question was coming, how does it compare to the last episode that you watched with me? Which was, by the way, 2 episodes ago that we reviewed it.
The last episode was okay, but slightly less forgettable. I mean, this felt like a massive amount of exposition. I'm writing my own novel right now, and a lot of what I'm writing is filler, and it felt like that. Like, they're also writing filler. Good for them. I'm not alone.
Yeah. Lindsay gives it a high. She says this was a 4.5. Really enjoyed the dynamics between the newbies and their parents. Also didn't mind Laurel or Renee in this one. Dinah and Curtis can go away.
I did not mind Laurel in this one. That was a magic thing. But I agree about not hot and not hot number 2.
Yeah.
They just don't meet the CW standards. And that's not my standards. That's the CW standards.
That they've set for themselves.
Yes.
So Renee, if they were bringing him in as a villain, I'd be down. Like, I see him as a villain.
There ain't enough time for that.
He doesn't see him as a villain. I feel like he's always been a villain all along. Like, constantly turned traitor, tried to kill Oliver, tried to sell Oliver, gets away from his family, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's been a villain this whole time, and the only thing that really bores me about him is the fact that he still thinks that he's a hero, and I'm like, you're like he's somehow surprised that he's a corrupt politician in the future. I'm like, you literally went and negotiated with the FBI to sell out your friends. Like,
you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Literally, by the time he was like an adult, he had lived long enough to see himself become. Dinah, they've been really struggling with her this season, and I would say they've been really struggling with her for like a hot minute now. The thing that bothered me with Laurel tonight was not her actual like lines or anything she was doing. Like, I think Laurel is at her strongest when she hates Oliver. Like her best,
Sure.
her best defining
Her
character
best,
trait.
most hateable performances are when she hates Oliver. Sure.
Yeah, like, and I don't hate when she hates Oliver. I feel like she has a
When she hates Oliver. She's so self-righteous.
okay. I will give you that the current Laurel has literally no reason to hate Oliver. Because the current Laurel is like this Earth 2 whatever, like literally just met him, he saved her life, and for some reason she wants to hate him. But the character comes across best when she's hating Oliver. Like, that's believable. Where I'm like, this bitch hates him. Like, I get it, right? Past Laurel, where it was like he cheated on her with her little sister, blah, blah, blah. She had every reason to hate him.
She had every reason, and yet I still hated her because she plays it as so self-righteous. It's like, what blameless life have you lived, Angel Laurel? Because I've never seen you do anything I didn't like you doing.
Yeah.
Like, she just... Oh, she's not a pure enough character. No, I hate saying that because we're all human. Nobody leads a blameless life, but she genuinely has this sort of puritanical self-righteousness where she
Which is
does
so
seem
weird
to think,
coming from a villain.
she does seem to think she has lived a blameless life, and she throws all of that weight of righteousness on Oliver as if he's not trying his best, and that it's always bothered me.
He's literally out here, like, trying to die for, like, the 4th time to save everybody. And she's
yeah.
like, Oliver's kind of a dick. And it's like, I get that coming from the other Laurel, where, again, like, he had been, like, got her baby sister killed. Like, I get it. Never forgive him. It's fine. I wouldn't either. But, like, this one is not in that position.
I wouldn't take it from the other Laurel either.
Yeah.
Like, she's just... She's not as good as she thinks she is.
The other Laurel, every single time she would like try to be a hard ass towards him, it's like, why are you even there though? Like, if I truly hated somebody that much, I just wouldn't join their team. Like, go do your thing. Jumping in the chat here because we've got a few. Gabby Smoke Queen says, okay, I'm at an 8 out of 10, and the only reason it lost 2 points was because he didn't actually call Felicity. That's super fair because I wanted him to, but at the same time, you gotta respect a show that respects the timeline. William's not trying to mess up the future and keep track of it.
Yeah, because we were so attentive to causality in this episode.
Okay, fair. Rengoku says Grant Wilson felt extremely unnecessary. I felt like they just needed to pay homage to a previous season and threw him in there. JJ would have been much more impactful.
Yes.
You know who else would have been impactful?
Who?
Slade himself. Mr. Wilson.
Not least because he's always impactful on screen. Yes.
Yes. Stormy says Renee being shocked that he's a scumbag in the future. Sir, you've been a traitor several times over the years. My thoughts exactly. I was like, how is Renee shocked? Like, he's literally had crises over the fact that, like, oh, I'm so terrible. Surprise. Yes, you are. You continue to be, apparently. Lindsay agrees. They're trying to do parallels, but it wasn't always smooth. Stormy says, just like with Felicity, they dampen William's skills to give Curtis something to do. Why is he even needed? I genuinely think he was needed for, like, the comic relief and to be, like, the audience's perspective. And I'm all down on the whole, like, Curtis is not always needed train. But for this time around, I feel like...
yeah, he served a function in this episode, but he still felt like a cheap Felicity because they did... Okay, and I acknowledge this during the episode. Like, Felicity did a thing. The Arrowverse did a thing in creating a character who genuinely felt unique. But any attempts to replicate that character will always feel very shoehorned. And that is how Curtis felt a little bit, which is unfair because in the last episode that I watched with you, like, it felt like he had a presence in his own right. And it was almost entirely taken away from him in this episode. He didn't feel like his own character. He felt like a trope.
Yeah. Curtis is frequently put in a position of being a trope. Frankly, I think Curtis, William, and Connor are often in positions of, like, coming across as what their character represents rather than, like, a full fleshed out character. Now, Curtis, obviously, he's been around since season 4, I guess, is when he first popped up. So by this point, he really should be coming across as more than that.
Season 4.
Curtis? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But, like, not a regular.
Okay.
Like, he was Felicity's assistant at the time.
Oh, okay.
Like, way back then. It wasn't a big character. No, you're fine. Connor and William, however, they've only been around for, like, half a second. Well, like, William showed up when he was like 12 or whatever, but this William and then now Connor, they've only been around for a short amount of time. So I think I give them a little bit of slack when sometimes they come across as like a not full fleshed out character.
Yeah.
Kate Johnson gives it a 4.5. Story says the actors play hatred well between Oliver and Laurel, probably because of rumors they hate each other in real life too.
The Flash has the same problem.
Yes,
Iris
they do.
and everybody.
Yes,
It's so fun.
Yeah, and like they'll go to parties, and then like certain
Yes,
members
told
of the
me that.
Flash cast just won't hang out with.
I
anybody
believe
else.
it. She sucks.
Truly rip. I can't speak anything about the Flash cast. Don't know anything about it. Apparently,
Sucks.
Grant got arrested.
What? What?
I'm not trying to start rumors.
I
Anyways,
didn't hear about this.
hello, live audience.
Oh, hate that.
Stormy says Laurel got with Oliver, knowing Sarah liked him. The way she treated Tommy, who actually loved her, was disgusting.
Yeah, Laurel has been a problematic character from the beginning. Stormy, I saw your comment like ages ago, and I just want to give you props. She's always been problematic. She's always been self-righteous. Actually, as a fan of The Flash, one of the things that has always rankled with me most is when they brought Cisco to Star City, and then he had this sort of slavish fanboy experience over her. Like, that was disgusting because she is incredibly self-righteous and she just lives in a glass house and
It just
cannot
doesn't make
throw
sense
those
because
stones.
Cisco's like one of the most powerful people in the entire
He's
Arrowverse.
the best character on The Flash. Sorry.
I do think
but
he's
like, yes.
I do think he's the best or one of the best, like top 2 characters.
And
on The Flash.
also, the actor, Carlos Valdez, is above and beyond what he does.
He's great.
Yeah.
But like even just like let's just take out of like this idea of like whether I like the character or not, whether I like the actor or not, the facts remain that Cisco Ramon as a character on paper is one of the most powerful people actually in the entire Arrowverse, to be honest, and frequently chooses to like not throw his power around too much, but has that, and having him be like a pop culture fan is one thing. Having him fanboy over people who are like way less powerful than him,
over Black Canary.
It's a really fine line. I don't think they did it. I know that was like way back in the day, but I really don't think they did it well. But that was kind of my issue this time around when you have like the newbies coming around. I was afraid they were going to be like fanboying, fangirling over the old one, and they really didn't.
No, the newbies definitely established something in their own right, which goes to kind of the point I had about the episode of it feeling like exposition. The new people, they bring their own history, and that's always great. Time travel is the best vehicle you can have, but it will set up immediately a different dynamic for sure.
Yeah. Kate has a fair point, and I think it kind of goes back to what you were saying as well. She says, I agree with the Laurel and Dinah stuff, but they were both better tonight than they have been in a long time. So that is kind of a positive that did pull up my rating from tonight, that they weren't like truly dragging it down. There were moments where, so when Mia went out in the field with Laurel, I actually really was wanting her to go out in the field with Oliver in that moment. And for him to kind of like begrudgingly go with her and, you know, be back up and have like a little bit more of a heart to heart, just because this isn't a full length season.
I think that's a payoff that they're setting up for you. Like, seriously,
There's only like 5 more episodes.
It was such a joke in this episode that the feeling I got was that they are going to give you exactly what you want in terms of Oliver's interaction with Mia. They're just not going to give it to you yet.
I agree. And like we know she's gonna get a spinoff, so we'll have more of her over time, I guess. Gabby says, okay, but they let him call Curtis, like, come on. Yeah. Rigoku says, Mr. Wilson would have been a treat. I believe he's referring to Slade.
Yes.
Wilson. Hope to see him back before the season ends, but as a good guy, I like his friendship with Oliver and the mutual respect they kind of have for each other now. Yeah, I'll take Slade back as a bad guy, like suddenly siding with his son and he doesn't like Oliver again because he's like backing his son up. Or I'll take Slade as like the good guy / anti-hero that he became when like he and Oliver like kissed and made up and became.
I can't pretend I didn't wish that Slade was the Monitor. Like, I love him. I would love him as a Deus Ex Machina figure. It's a shame that role is already taken.
Yeah. I mean, like, Slade being behind the Monitor or on the Monitor's team would be cool. Like, Lila's on the Monitor's team. Why not throw
It's
Slade
straight
on
up not going to happen.
Oh, like...
But it would be great.
A girl can dream.
A girl can dream.
I got the best, like, old school season 2 headcanon for Slade that would have been bomb.
Okay.
He and Laurel should have been in love.
What?
Because because Oliver stole Shadow from him, basically. And by Oliver, like, I know no one has right to another human. I'm a feminist. No woman owes any man anything, blah, blah. I agree, but putting that all aside, within the context of the story,
Okay.
Slade kind of deserved Shadow. He had, like, protected her, trained her, like, had her back, been there longest. No one deserves anybody, but Slade deserves Shadow. Oliver got with Shadow. Shadow took care of Oliver, and then she died because of him.
Mhm.
So Slade's naturally pissed.
Although because of him is a rough interpretation.
We're using some euphemism. Then enter season 1 of Arrow, where like Slade's pissed off at Oliver.
Mhm.
So if Slade was going by season 1 standards, he would have thought Oliver was into Laurel, right? Because like she was like his high school ex-girlfriend, whatever.
So steal her in response?
Steal her, but not even like the attempt to steal her necessarily romantically, but like steal her, train her, try to give her superpowers, you know, like the whole Mirakuru thing, try to, you know, like the whole like,
you know,
teach her to scream, but like metaphorically.
I'm not going to pretend that I don't think that the writers had that somewhere in the backs of their minds, and it's possible that Katie Cassidy is the cross that died on.
Let me tell you why we work with Katie Cassidy. She can only do 2 facial expressions. I'm so sorry. Laurel, not saying anything about any actress. Laurel in early seasons chose as her method, although she had the full range of emotion available, and turned on. Both of those are the only appropriate reactions to what you can. I did tell her that everybody hates everybody on The Flash. That's fine. I do think everybody hates each other on The Flash. As
she told me everyone hates Iris and that she doesn't hang out with everyone else.
No. The person who plays Iris hates everybody.
Oh, backwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which totally tracks with the way that Iris interacts with everyone.
Yeah, I'm like pretty sure I saw that in like somebody's blind item or something. Stormy says, I remember that Cisco thing. I was like, no, dude, you deserve better. No one should be stuck with you.
Thank you.
Oliver's response. Ben Levine says, the future team met Laurel in the future last season. Yeah, like some of that didn't necessarily track with how they were reacting here this time. But granted, it's a different one, potentially.
Causality. You have to be invested in time travel, or you're going to do it and there are going to be mistakes. I'm not going to hold anyone to the standard of not doing it.
Yeah.
But there are going to be mistakes if you do not have your time travel system worked out entirely, and if it's not a priority of your show. Just period. And by the way, I'm not exempting The Flash there either. They've made mistakes. The only ones who have never made mistakes is 12 Monkeys. Shameless plug.
Kate pointing out my backpedal on talking about The Flash just in general. Yes, fair.
Yes.
Yeah, we know nothing about The Flash. I've been told nothing about The Flash. It's fine. Gabby says, I'm just so impressed with Kat, Steven, Ben, David, and Joseph in this episode. I think that they did an impeccable job with the relationship dynamics and the emotions. That's what really impressed me. Yeah, and it was really like, I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to pull it off. Especially, I was really uncertain about Diggle's dynamic with Connor at first, with this whole he hasn't adopted him yet and he doesn't know him yet, and he's like, who's this kid calling me dad? And then he was like kind of resistant at first. I was like, I don't know about all this. They pulled it around by the end, but initially I was like, ooh, that wasn't what I expected, like from Diggle necessarily.
He can handle any emotion.
He's one of the best ones.
Loved him. He is. I've loved him for so long. He was part of the reason I started watching the show, and he's fantastic.
Yeah. Agreed. Rengoku says, Laurel doesn't deserve an aggressive gentleman like Slade. Well, she says, Slade is classy. Imagine the dates he'd take you on. Private jet, expensive, Aussie, rum, etc.
I expect him to correct my pronunciation of Ibiza.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You think
like Batman style.
Yeah, and like only have one eye and has a house full of art.
Only one eye. That is the sexiest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I don't want a guy to be able to look at me. So like, that's fair. Angela Nay says, lol. Snorri says, I remember the Cisco thing. I was like, no, dude, you deserve better. No one should be stuck with any Laurel. It's fair. Okay, well, let's see. What would you like to see? Just transitioning, because I know I've kept everybody over by quite a bit. What would you like to see in the final few episodes?
I would like to see the ending that this show deserves. Honestly, this show is a pioneer for the CW, and it charted really new territory. I'd like to see satisfying endings for the characters that they have somehow inexplicably introduced in their new season, not the ones who get spin-offs, but just the ones who are there to serve functions, like, they deserve satisfying endings too.
Mhm.
Yeah, Arrow means something to a lot of people, and I would like to see a meaningful ending for it.
Yeah, I want to see a very Arrow ending. Like, I feel like in tonight's episode, what was nice is that they felt like they were building up to Arrow content and not just building up to the crossover for the first time in a while. Because they've really been building up to the crossover pretty hardcore.
I mean, and they definitely have a vehicle to continue it. Granted, the crossover is going to be part, I think, of their resolution, and there needs to be some consideration of how they will work a satisfying resolution into that as well.
Yeah. Gabby says Manu Bennett is definitely short in real life. Just saying.
Wait, how short?
Doesn't matter.
I'm gonna look it up later.
Fair enough. Stormy says, I want more Oliver with his kids. Can't wait to have Emily back. More Diggle and Lila. I want Oliver's death to be undone because he deserves to be with his family. Lindsay says, now that Emily's coming back, I get to be emotionally invested again. Super fair.
An elegy for Emily. And as I said to Kim during the episode, like, you cannot ever take away what Felicity was. She was an original character.
Mm-hmm.
And the show did something with her that no one else had ever really done. She didn't represent, she is a stock character, I would say now, but she wasn't a stock character before this. They created a trope, and that is brilliant. It will almost certainly be replicated because it was certainly
attempted.
Yeah. And I think that in the show's final season, it is worth recognizing what she brought.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, that concludes everything. I'm sorry for keeping everybody a few minutes over time. Rengoku says Manu is 5'11". That's not that short.
No, that's not. That's fine. That is acceptable.
Gabby says I'm 5'6", and he was a couple inches taller than me.
Again, acceptable. 5'6" is actually pretty tall for women. I don't.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm 5'3". I wouldn't know.
Yeah. No, the average is like 5'4" or 5'5".
Worldwide, yeah, I think so. Rengoku says, with a whole Infinite Earths crossover, I'd like to see that version of Ollie. Rengoku also says, it's totally out there, but something I would like to see is an evil alternate version of Oliver who is Deathstroke. And that's what he was saying, that alternate version of Oliver. Alternate version of Oliver who's Deathstroke, and life where his brother Slade died on Lian Yu, and Oliver took up his mantle.
To be fair, there's an alternate Earth where that's what Arrow is actually about, like the whole show.
I believe in...
On the alternate IRL Earth.
I've talked to you about my alternate universes theory.
No, but we'll definitely do that after.
I believe that there's infinite alternate universes IRL. More on this story at 11. I'll talk to you guys later next week. Thank you for joining. And if you would like to chat with my lovely guest, Ingrid,